Hi, Pete Wargent here from Next Level Wealth. Hi from a very hot and sticky Singapore where I am today. A lot of water under the bridge since I first came to Singapore back in the 1990s. The population of Singapore through that decade increased from 3 to 4 million, and today the population of Singapore is 5.6 million, about 2/3 of whom are citizens and the other third are permanent residents and foreign workers. So I was going to say it's an unbelievable rate of change. It's not quite that, but it's pretty astonishing. Now I think from a real estate investment point of view, in these rapidly developing cities, of which Australia has a couple, there are really three things you've got to think about. One is the cost of land. Now a city like Singapore has a genuine scarcity of land, and we've seen the price of the land here just exploding over the decades. But what the market has shown is it can always deliver more generic high-rise units, and it can always deliver more office space. But what we've seen since the 1990s, a lot of those daggy old buildings have either been very slickly renovated because of the price or the value of the land that sits underneath them, or they've been raised and replaced by much higher building. The second thing you've got to think about is the cost of construction. Cost of construction, despite what people say, modern apartments and office buildings are much better appointed than they used to be, and the inner city land remediation costs can be very high. But all things being equal, with advances in things like AI and robotics and prefab techniques and laser printing, the cost of construction, particularly for generic project homes, should fall in real terms over the decades ahead. So that's something to be wary of. If you buy land out on a city fringe or a regional area where there's no scarcity in the land, you may well see the replacement cost actually falling in real terms. And the third thing to consider is the cost of money. Since the 1990s, the cost of money has just come down and down as interest rates have fallen and fallen. Now we're not going to see a repeat of that in the decades ahead because we can't see the cost of money falling as it has in decades past. So what does that mean? Well, it means less generic price growth in real terms. So we may well see a burst of inflation at some point, but it does mean that you can't just buy any old house and just expect it to keep increasing in value above the rate of inflation. Not going to happen unless you own a scarce asset on land that is scarce, and either in a boutique block of apartments or apartment with a view, or a house on a scarce block of land. Those are the assets that are going to outperform. So those are the three things you've got to consider: the cost of land, the cost of construction, and the cost of money. Cheers.